Hello, goodbye, and hello again. Welcome back to Drifter Carbon and to another Minecraft texture pack review. Today we're taking a look at World of Cubes texture pack by Some Game Studio. That is the company's name. It's 990 Minecraft coins, and it was surprisingly like 170 megabytes, which is pretty huge for something that's just a texture pack. It says, obsessed with all things square, wish to block out all other shapes, then step into a chunky new world with our World of Cubes texture pack. With bold, low-resolution textures and custom cube mobs, this is the perfect pack for anyone dreaming of those straight edges. 8x8 blocks, items, and mobs, so it is a low-res pack. Custom UI, version 1.21, Tricky Trials ready. So updated not too long ago. I'm wondering if the Pale Garden stuff will be there. And that just says the same thing. Yeah, so I didn't really intend to continuously do like a bunch of low-res texture packs in a row, but that's kind of ended up happening. But so if you like this kind of texture pack, check out some of the videos I've done recently. Anyway, if you've not seen one of these videos before, then I show off all the textures and then give my final thoughts on the pack as a whole. So let's go ahead and jump on into the texture pack review world. Okay, here we are in the texture pack review world. I thought today, just for a change of pace, we'd do things a little bit backwards and look at the mobs first. So we'll start at the end of the line of mobs and work our way back towards the things that grow stuff. The sky is full of squares, and the skybox has like lots of rectangular prisms and stuff in the distance, so that's interesting. Yeah, so it doesn't look like this was updated since the Pale Garden stuff was added. But here is the Wither. Get in there so you can see him a little better. The glass texture kind of, it's got a thick border on it in this texture pack, so it's a little harder to see the mobs through it, but we will make do. That's what the Wither looks like. It's 3 cubes. Here is the Breeze. There you go. So I see that we kind of have a theme going with all of these mobs where in this pack they've just made everything a stylized cube. So I guess I was saying a while back that something about Minecraft being mostly cubes, but I guess this pack takes that to the extreme. Here's the Warden. Yeah, I mean, these are cute enough, right? The Armadillo. There you go. The Armadillo's already pretty close to being a cube as it is. Here's the Sniffer. A little squished Sniffer. It reminds me of those watermelons that people have grown in the shape of a cube. Snow Golem and Snow Golem with its pumpkin carved off. Hold on, they both have their pumpkin carved off. Okay, there is no pumpkin Snow Golem, apparently. They just look the same regardless. Interesting. The Iron Golem and Damaged Iron Golem appear to, like, you can tell when he's damaged, but instead of having a battle damage texture, he's just a different color. So he turns kind of rusty, I guess, when he's damaged. The Ravager. There you go. That's what the Ravager looks like. The Pillagers. Pretty much what you'd expect from a Pillager in this style. But at least they're doing something different with the mobs, right? There's not... It seems like the mobs are less animated than usual, though. Like they're kind of just a stationary 3D object with nothing special changing about them. Phantom. Here we can kind of see slightly more of the Phantom than usual, but there's not a whole lot going on there. Zombie villagers. Okay. I'm hoping the textures, the blocks and stuff make up for the fact that they're hold on. Yeah, I was just saying that hopefully the textures on the blocks and stuff make this pack feel a little more worth it. I mean, it's fun that they've done something totally different with the mobs, but I think they should have been animated. Like, look at these villagers. They're cute. The accessories are nice. You know, you got your different styles of villager here, but I would like to see their arms flap around and their noses twitch or something. You know, if you're going to do custom 3D models for a mob, it might as well be animated. Because this is 990 Minecraft coins. Here's the Evoker and the Vindicator. I guess the fact that it's huge is just because there's... here's the Shulkers. I guess it's just because they have a custom model for everything, but here we go. I did change some things in the world. I added like more glass walls instead of just the wooden walls there for ease of seeing things. Not much going on with the ghast. He's already kind of mostly cube-like. The blaze. Cute enough. See, that one's animated. There's some mobs that actually move around. The camels. Okay, yeah, see, we're getting some movement here. The camel's ears twitch and stuff, so it's not all disappointing. Some of it's good. I'm gonna have to spawn in a wandering trader. Where is it? There it is. Get out your llamas. If anyone's wondering, I'm saying get out of your llamas, not get your llamas out. I've said that several times now, but there we go. That's the wandering trader. And the llamas, for that matter. That's what the llamas look like. They're cute enough. All the mobs are very simple in this pack, but it's if you're looking for something that changes them up, this is they definitely look different. Here's the frog. And the allay. Their wings move at least. Axolotls. And here with them, they almost look like rodents or something, more so than axolotls, but they've got their little frills. They're just, yeah, at least their legs move. They do run around. The goat. Come on, face this way, goat. There you go. This is the zombie piglin and zombie piglin brute. And the zoglin, zombified hoglin. They look pretty similar to the zombie piglins, actually. Here's the strider, both in and out of the lava. The magma cube. Magma cube's the most normal mob we've seen in this pack so far. In fact, that may even be just default. You have to spawn in an endermite. That's the dolphin. We don't want to spawn a dolphin on land. Endermite is just 2 cubes. Doesn't have a face or anything. Guardian and Elder Guardian. There you go. Pretty standard stuff. It's got a tail. The witch. Looks similar to the villagers, just green skinned. Squid and glow squid. That's probably the cutest mob in the pack so far. You got your, you know, it's very petite and cubey, as one would expect. He drowned. So yeah, I think I mean if you enjoy this style, this simplistic cube style, then I mean these are pretty easy to tell what most of them are. Here's the husk, the bogged. Bogged is kind of cool. The zombie. I mean you know, if you stuck a husk next to a zombie in the wild and asked me which was which, I might or might not be able to tell you. Spider and cave spider. Kind of like the squid, just on land. Slime. There you go. He's got eyes. The stray. Just a big skull. Wither skeleton and skeleton are the same. They're just different colors. The silverfish. There you go. So that's what the silverfish looks like. It has its movement, but it doesn't like animate or anything. Enderman, we're gonna have to swing on out here, way out into the void to find a Enderman. Oh, that's different. That's interesting. There you go. That's one of the more fun mobs in the pack. It's springing around on a spring instead of just walking around on two legs. So the Enderman was different enough. So that's another fun one. The creeper. It's just a green square with a creeper face. The fox. That's cute. So some of these mobs have more detail than just cube with big representations of features from the mob. The panda does have a tail. Sea turtle. Here's the dolphin. There we go. Let's look at these salmon. Yes, I pronounced it that way on purpose. They have like no face, which is strange. Most of the other mobs have something going on the face. The pufferfish. See the pufferfish in their various stages of puffiness. They don't have mouths, they just have eyes. Cod. Maybe I should try to find a way to mispronounce the cod one of these days too. The tropical fish of various kinds and sizes. There you go. They have some differences between them. Here is the zombie horse. Kind of a funny looking zombie horse. Skeleton horse. Also just mostly looks like a white horse, but with ribs on the side. Mule. I guess it's kind of interesting seeing, you know, how do you condense down the personality of a mob into as simple of a form as possible. The donkey. The horses look very similar to the donkey and mule and the abnormal horses. Here's horses in horse armor. There you go. The llamas we already saw earlier, but those were trader llamas. And these are not. Here's the rabbits. Cute little squarish bunnies. The parrots. that's fun. Yeah. I like the parrots. The bat. Not seeing a whole lot that's terribly surprising once you get used to seeing this style. But the bat is cute. Mushroom. Get over here and look at the mushroom from the front. It bounces along and then its mushrooms stay still. Cats. Various different cats, but there's not a whole lot of differences in the texture. They're just like normally cats have a different pattern and stuff, but these are just different colors. The ocelot. There you go. It just looks like the cat, but with dots. Polar bear. It has more animation than a lot of things when it moves. That's interesting. The wolf and wolf armor. So at least there's the wolf armor and stuff. This was updated recently enough that you're getting some of the more interesting recent features. The sheep. And when you dye the sheep, it doesn't dye its face, which is good. That's always frustrating when a pack does that. The pig. And the cow. The bee. And last but not least, the chicken. Which I don't think is working properly. Is the chicken supposed to look like that? Because I don't think it is. Here's the warm chicken, and but it's funny that the warm chicken has a custom texture to it, but the cold chicken is just the default cold chicken, but with a really glitchy body. Like that's bizarre. The cold chicken just looks like the cold chicken, but its body bounces. I don't know what's going on there. That something went horribly wrong with the chickens. Yeah, so anyway, continuing on with the doing things backwards, we'll look at the armors next. Here's the armors. That's the most disappointing thing in the pack so far. These weapons don't look great either. The swords. That's yeah, that's not knocking my socks off here. The elytra, the shield, and turtle shell helmet, the bow. All the weapons and tools are big chunky things. Here's the sentry, armor trim, rather. I don't know why I singled out the sentry one in particular. These are amethyst armor trims on iron armor, but they do have a very low pixel style, but they are custom armor trims, which is nice. And I mean, they're not doing much for me personally, but they look all right. There you go. That's what all those look like. Let's look at the items. These are starting with weapons and tools. Yeah, these are definitely going for a low pixel count style. And you can kind of tell what most of these things are, I guess. Here's food. That's the horn. That's the respawn compass. I didn't describe things as they went along. The potions at least have different shapes on some of them. Food items. Yeah, I mean, I'm not personally a huge fan of things with this little detail. I like to here's music discs. I prefer to have a little bit easier time telling what stuff is. Here's things in buckets. Like this is pretty disappointing in terms of things in buckets. Very hard to tell what's what here. They all look the same for the most part. Minerals, various other items. Yeah, so the items are definitely not a strong point for this pack, but what can you do, right? All right, now we've finally made it back to things that grow, which is normally where we start one of these videos. I just thought I'd mix things up today, just to keep things from getting boring, you know. Things that grow, starting with like the trees and stuff. All the little baby trees are very low detail. Here's the mushrooms. The crops. At least it's pretty easy to tell what everything is. The sunflower there. various other flowers, some colorful vines and stuff. Very, very simple. All the leaves are, they're going for that very see-through thing that I'm not necessarily a huge fan of, because it makes the trees look very thin, very see-through, you know, but that's, I suppose, a stylistic choice. There's the pale garden stuff is too new. Here's the giant mushrooms, logs and planks. There's the logs. Looks like they have just one texture for the logs. That's pretty disappointing. Just different colors. Same thing with the planks. There's you know, a different for the special pattern bamboo looks different, but everything else is the same. There's no variations within textures. Dirt, sand, gravel, and moss. These are all pretty basic. Suspicious sand and suspicious gravel, you can tell the difference between regular and suspicious. So it's got that going for it at least. Sandstone. Very low detail. Stone and stuff. Wow. So we're seeing a lot of repeated textures here. I feel like they're losing a lot of points by just copying and pasting. Polished stone, same story. They kind of just have one texture and change the color. Cobblestones, bricks, stone, bricks, blocks, stone, bricks, blocks, etc. There you go. I mean, like, there's a few different textures, but a lot of it's very similar. Glass. As we saw before, thick borders on the glass, which I'm not a huge fan of. Wool. Concrete powder. Concrete. At least you got, like, if you're wanting to do some... If you're, like, doing, like, a Lego, like, build or whatever, maybe this pack would be good. But, because you could do various things with these colorful brick things from the concrete. Terracotta is a stripedy block. Glazed terracotta, that's disappointing. So they just have one pattern for all the glazed terracotta. That's kind of a step down from 99% of the other packs. Because normally glazed terracotta is where you get some of the most fun patterns. Here's ore. I will say this for the pack, it is easy to tell the difference between regular stone and the ores. Nether ore, deep slate ore, all very easily readable. You can tell what everything's supposed to be. Amethyst, random lonely magma block. It is animated. That's the first real animated block we've seen. Sponges in this pack. Sponges, you can tell the difference between the wet and the dry. Light sources. There's the bulbs back there. Campfires. Another animated block here in the miscellaneous light sources. And these guys are animated too. So they put in some effort. But these are very simplistic animations. They're not getting a whole lot of credit for that. These signs are reasonably readable, though I do feel like the patterning is a little too dark on most of these. So it's going to be difficult to read signs from any distance whatsoever. Hanging signs are pretty simple. The monster spawner. Here's fences and gates. Dried kelp block. Diamond, gold, emerald, and redstone blocks. They're all the same pattern. Same as the iron block. Rock, copper, gold, and iron. The same pattern as each other. Just different colors. Lodestone. Prismarine, they reused the brick texture. Slime block. Honey. Hay bale. At least the hay bale has a different look to it than any of the previous blocks we've seen in this pack. The bone block. Here's quartz. Pretty simple stuff on the quartz. Copper. So you'd have to really be going for a minimalist style with your build in order for this to work out. The ladder. Here's the doors. All of them are custom except for the pale oak. These doors are not that special. There's a lot of repeating textures and stuff. There's kind of like 3 or 4 patterns for the doors, and they're just reused across the board. Trap doors, pretty simple, but you know, I mean, you could use them to make couches, bookcases, etc. There's 1 pattern for the bookcase. The enchanting table. It's the most animated thing in the whole pack so far. The beds. Well, there were a couple of mobs that were good. These are very simple beds. They're just kind of different. Same pattern, different colors. Crafting table and villager job tables. Yeah, I mean, these are... You can tell what most of them are supposed to be. They're still identifiable, even though they're heavily simplified versions. Furnaces. It's like they've got one furnace. Well, I guess that one's like the smoker or whichever one that is slightly different, but I kind of just reuse the main texture. Anvil and grindstone, you can tell how damaged your anvil is. Cauldrons, there's lava and a potion. Chests, you can definitely tell which one's trapped. The barrel, the jukebox and note block. Pretty standard stuff. Empty armor stand, the beacon, the bell. The iron bars. So I'm wondering, why is this pack so huge? Because nothing I've seen so far really jumps out at me as needing to be 170 or whatever megabytes. Here's the paintings. They're all custom. Been updated recently enough that they're all custom. I mean, these are cute enough, you know. These work for like if you're into very low pixel count pixel art. Those are good. Here's the item frames and the rails. Here's things in mine carts, including a sheep in a mine cart. Redstone stuff. The pottery. Very simple pottery, but at least it's custom. So, you know, I mean, these are simplified versions of pre-existing patterns there on the pottery. Scaffolding. Banners are pretty much blank. Boats. That's what the boats look like. Very simple. The tough. Trial spawner and vault. It does open and close when you get close or far away from it. Resin is 2 new. Here's targets, and here's the heads. Pretty much what you would expect from this pack, I suppose. Very simple mob heads. There you go. And the dragon egg. Okay, let's go ahead and go to the nether. Here we are in the nether. Yeah, so just as a general summary, the blocks didn't really knock my socks off either. No socks for the blocks, as I will now say in every pack that that does not knock my socks off with the blocks, and you can hold me to that. Comment down below if I forget to say no socks for the blocks. Don't do that, but do comment down below what you think of the pack so far. Here's hoglins. They look an awful lot like the zombified hoglins. Just perhaps they're a little less zombified. The respawn anchor. Also, this is what the pattern looks like on the nether portal. Piglins. Come on, face over this way. My dude. Look over here. There you go. they do, you know, credit where credit's due. There is more than one piglin face. So that's at least a positive thing that you could say about the pack. We'll fly up here, look at the ghasts, wherever they went. Kind of already looked at them before. There's not as much need to look at the ghasts in the nether now that I've got a wall of glass. But that's what they look like. And we will fly out this way and look at another biome. Fly out this way. There you go. That's what that looks like. So let's go ahead and hop on over to the template, to the Stronghold Below template world. Okay, here we are in the Stronghold Below template world. If you'd like to create a world very similar to this one with the stronghold right about here, when you're creating a new world, next to where you would input your custom seed, there's a button for templates. This one's called Stronghold Below. We're going to fly around here, look at the villager houses, and get a general view for what the overworld looks like. There's a composter. Fly over this way, look at a abandoned village so we can see the cobweb. There you go. Pretty standard, pretty much what you'd expect. Fly over here, look at some of this stuff. There's a there's like snow foxes running around. That's cute. And then fly back to the stronghold. Here's what the frozen water looks like. It's like the grass texture and the frozen water texture are the same as the ice. The ice is also the same, just with a different texture on the side. And yeah. So the overworld in general, I mean, I guess you could play with this pack in a regular survival world, but go ahead and jump on into the stronghold here. But I think you'd have a hard time because it's difficult to tell at just a glance what some of the blocks are. Stronghold looks kind of weird with instead of just mossy bricks or whatever, they're like grass textures. Because these are, you know, that's a little strange. But we will eat a pumpkin pie, drink a potion of strength to see the swirlies. Okay, it's pixels instead of swirlies, so they did something different at least. Just doing some various things that I always do, reloading the crossbow there. There's the particles coming off of the arrow. That's what a sword looks like in your hand. I really don't like the way the tools look in your hand in this pack. Throw a potion of enchanting or bottle of enchanting so you can see the experience orbs. Here's what the end portal looks like. We'll jump on in. Yeah, we've seen this texture used a couple of times in this pack. The end void has kind of a larger pixeled staticky texture to it today. There's the bouncing Enderman. That's probably my favorite thing in the entire pack, is the bouncing Enderman. Fly up here for an end crystal. Not a whole lot going on with those. And last but not least, the Ender Dragon. There you go. So that's kind of a cute Ender Dragon, I guess. I mean, the mobs are really like... they're kind of the strong suit of this pack, even though some of them don't move much. I mean, really, if you're buying this pack or downloading this pack on the Marketplace Pass, because it's on the pass right now, then, you know, you're kind of, I guess you get what you came for, because you're going for the cubed mobs, cube mobs, and it definitely delivers that, and you can tell what most of the mobs are, other than like, what's a horse? What's a donkey? That sort of problem. But that's, you know, that happens sometimes when you simplify things. But I don't know. I wasn't impressed by the blocks. I feel like the usability of the pack is lower than average. And there were a couple other little problems, but and the items are just, I really don't like the look of the items. There's kind of a element of usability where, you know, readability, where it's like, okay, how many seconds does it take me to figure out what I'm holding in my hand, right? And I feel like it takes a little bit longer than usual to tell what item you're holding. And when it comes to blocks, like a lot of the stuff, let's look at the UI while we're here. Not much going on with the UI, but like a lot of the blocks reuse the same pattern and stuff. There's just a lot of reused textures throughout the whole pack. So I really, like, just as a whole, I cannot give this pack more than like a 3 out of 5 on the score. So yeah, I guess that's what I think of this pack, but I don't know. I mean, you know, it's really, at the end of the day, it's up to you whether you think that a pack is for you. If you like the mobs enough to want to use it, then all the more power to you. I don't really think this pack is for me, and I don't really think that I would spend 990 Minecraft coins on it. Like, if it was on sale for like 300 mine coins or something, maybe. But I don't know. It seems like there's an awful lot of things that you can get for 990 Minecraft coins that have the better block textures and stuff. So anyway, all right, well, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please leave it a like, and please subscribe if you haven't already. I am trying to grow my channel. I'm trying to make up for you know, like the algorithm is not being my friend lately, ever since I had a month there where I had too much real life stuff going on, and I couldn't get videos out as often as I needed to. But anyway, we're starting to get back on track again. So hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you next time. Peace. Thank you. Please like, subscribe, and share. Drifter Carbon was filmed in front of an undead studio audience.